welcome to my POA podcast, Black Hand and Beyond. This is episode 31. I'm your host, Kent Rourke. Thank you for joining us again tonight. And we did 30 episodes last year in our first year of doing this podcast. And tonight's our first episode, so number 31. And we're going to have some episodes, every other week or so, maybe a few weeks in a row. It is tough to kind of go every week, but I do have some guests lined up for the future. And then, of course, we're going to talk about history. The show does have a lot of POA history in it, but the title is Black Hand and Beyond, meaning we're going to talk about history and beyond the history to the modern and what's going on now. And that leads us to, we have two very good guests tonight. Levi from Wisconsin is going to be our special guest. Young Levi is a 10-year-old man from Alman, Wisconsin, and he's number one in the nation this year. He's going to be joining us via phone here in a little while. And then after that, our featured breeder guests tonight will be Tommy and Suzanne Tomlin from Chandler, Texas. And I've known Tommy for quite a long time, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And so he's going to be our guest a little later. I want to wait and let some people get on here and make sure everybody's alive that's going to be live. Again, you can watch this live on Tuesday nights on POA History Group on Facebook. It will also be on Facebook all the time. After that, you just have to be a member of the POA History Group on Facebook. And then we're going to try this year to get a lot of them on YouTube. Hopefully we can get these set up on YouTube in the future. So if anybody's out there, please go ahead and let me know so that you hear me. There we go. Kathy from Florida is on. Hopefully Tracy gets on. She's like my right-hand person on these things. She always tells me how the sound is sounding and everything. So while we're waiting for some people to join, I just wanted to do a few shout outs this week. What did you guys think of this? Hopefully you got this in the mail. I got this quite a while ago. Actually, I was pretty early getting it, and I just enjoyed it. Great job, Tammy Verzi. I didn't get the one last year because I guess I wasn't a member, so I didn't have any reference to go on, but I just think this is one of the best publications ever by POA. So I just loved cover to cover all about it. So, and one of our guests tonight, Levi, there was a great article in here about him. So hopefully you read that, so you got to know him a little bit before you hear him tonight. And just a lot of great POAs in there. Tammy is the bomb, that's right. So Jackie's here from Wisconsin, and Tracy's here from Florida. We got quite a few Florida people here. So I'll start get my face off the big screen here and put some pictures up. We're not going to have as many pictures tonight, but we are going to have a lot of conversation. I got to meet Levi over the phone last night and had a good little conversation with him, preparing for today. A great young man. And then, of course, Tommy. I told Tommy when we talked tonight, it's just like us standing by the stalls at a show talking about POAs, rapping about bloodlines and talking about, things, the influences in his breeding program and what he's doing right now, where he's going in the future, things like that. So it's going to be a cool show tonight. We're going to get it started right now. So as you see on the screen, that is Levi with his Gilding Reese, who's a world famous POA, perpetually tipped. And I got a cool story about him I'm going to tell before we call Levi and get him on the phone. Perpetually Tipped was born in 2006, and Jeremy, my friend from Kansas, always tells me I need to tell this story. And the story of how this colt came about was in 2004 and 2006, my dad, Pat, and I put on two special POA sales. They weren't sanctioned by the POA club or anything. We financed all of it. We called people. We rented a facility in Candy, Ohio, Minnesota, and Candy, Ohio County, which is Wilmer, Minnesota. That's where I went to college at. And we had 80-some horses, POAs, the first year, and the second year I think we had 60-some. And our friend Doc and Ruth Ann consigned two very nice POAs the second year, the '06 sale. And one of them was this stallion right here, this little guy, CHR Tiger's Tough Eagle, who was bred by Tommy Tomlin, who's going to be our second guest this evening. And he also consigned this mare right here, and this picture doesn't do her justice. Let me tell you, when I was sitting up in the stand, the block, reading pedigrees, she was a beautiful mare, huge forearm, really modern mare, long neck. This picture was taken in the early spring. The sale was held on Mother's Day weekend, so May. So in Hazel Green, Wisconsin, there you can see the trees are green and stuff. But when he took that picture, it was for the catalog, and it was just, winter was just ending, and she hadn't shed out yet, and she was pregnant, of course. And in this picture, she's carrying Reese, who becomes perpetually tipped. And when I read her pedigree, I said, this mare is a great mare. Anytime you can get a mare from Doc Nemmers, you need to jump on it. And I said, the foal she's carrying will probably be a champion, and it's probably going to be worth way more than what you're paying for the mare. And as he put here, 510, she was due to foal. The sale was 5.8. So on May 8th, and I think she foaled 2 days later in Iowa. Larry Myers hauled her home, I believe, for a different buyer, but he ended up with the foal, who ended up being perpetually tipped. And of course, Larry showed him as a yearling gelding and then sold him to the Hunters of Iowa. That's Holly there. And he was a beautiful looking yearling gelding. He did a lot of winning, and then of course he just went on from there. So he's, born in 06, so he's 16 already. He's won multiple national titles. He's become one of Nemmers' biggest champions, which is ironic because he doesn't carry the Doc's name, but you just heard the story how Doc sold the mare just a few days before this foal was born. So this gelding's only been owned by a few families. He was owned by the Hunters from Iowa. He was shown by Janelle Burton now, and did well, won the Futurity in 08. And then he went to Michigan, to the Wagner kids. There he is. There's two. That's a Hall of Fame picture right there. I believe that's the Crisco kid. And then, of course, Reese perpetually tipped on the backside there, and the three Wagner kids. And then he went to Wisconsin, to the family I'm about ready to call right now. So just giving you a heads up. And at first he was ridden by Brooklyn, who is Levi's older sister. And then he was ridden by, this last year, he was campaigned by Levi, and they became the #1 team, high point in the nation. If you read the thing, you seen that? Hello? Hello, let's see if I got you on here. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, hey Levi, I got it up loud. You might want to talk real loud, okay? Okay, let's see, I can barely hear you. Let's see here, let me make sure I got this right. Yep, Tracy can't hear it. I know, Tracy. I'm trying. Let's see. I have the Bluetooth cranked up.
Can you hear me now?
I can barely hear you. I might have to call you back and try it. Okay, let me call you back, Levi. Sorry about that. Okay, that's the beauty of live podcasts, okay? I'm trying with my phone. My phone's just locked up. There we go. Okay. The Bluetooth is on. Let's try this again, Levi. Hey, I can hear you, but I don't think they can hear you very well, Levi. I don't know why. Let me make sure. I think it's connecting now. You might blow them out of the water as soon as this connects. This is the beautiful thing about live podcasts. There you go. Talk now, Levi.
Hello.
There you go. I can hear you now, buddy. You sound good. You're coming all the way from Wisconsin. Tracy, can you hear him now?
Hello. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy. He's talking to you. We have a few people live right now, so I can hear you in my left ear, so I'm pretty sure people can hear you. I got it cranked up pretty good. So, yep, she says she can hear you. I apologize for that. So, life doesn't always go perfect. It's just like in a show sometimes. You might blow the lead or do something wrong and pilot error. But we got it figured out now. So, Levi, pronounce your last name for me, will you?
Travisescu.
There you go. I didn't want to do it. I got too much embarrassment to try to mess up that name. So, because it's a good name. So, your mom and dad is Eric and Susie, right?
Yep.
From Alman, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I pronounce Wisconsin funny. When I was your age, I used to say Wisconsin like it was W-E, like W-S-T, Wisconsin, even though it was east of where I lived in Minnesota. So, so you've been showing Reese just this year. It seems like you've been showing him for years. Because what did you accumulate, 9,000 some points?
Yeah.
This year? Wow, that's a lot of points for a year. So you beat everybody in the country, all the boys and girls, because you guys were together this year, weren't you, showing?
Yeah.
Right? How did your sister do? She was third, wasn't she?
Yep.
You didn't rub it in too much, did you?
No.
No, there you are on screen now. We're looking at a picture of you standing there in your gray suit and black hat. You look like a real gentleman there, and Reese is posing. He's got his tongue out. Oh, you're welcome. So, how long have you been showing POAs, Reese? Or Levi, I'm sorry. Levi.
I've been showing POAs for about 6 years.
6 years, wow. So over half your life you've been showing POAs. Okay. So I guess your mom grew up showing horses, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then she got you into showing POAs, you and your sister. That's good. So, and this was the first year you rode. Reese, you're going to ride him again this year? You rode him last year. Now 2022, you're going to campaign him again?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's good. You trying to go for number one again? You're going to try to set a dynasty here like Tom Brady and win a bunch of championships?
We're going to try it. We're going to try.
You're going to try? Yeah, like the Packers win a bunch of conference championships. So, are you a Packers fan?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. I won't turn the Bluetooth off. I'll still talk to you. So, okay. So what's some of the things you like to do when you're not showing POAs, Levi?
When I'm not showing POAs, what I like to do is drag the arena and ride my horse Reese, and I shoot archery, so I do that.
You shoot archery, you compete too, don't you? Like at competitions and stuff?
Yeah.
You must be pretty competitive riding competition and then shooting. So when you compete in the archery contests, are there a lot of people competing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't you just win a big one this Sunday or something, or this weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah? Wow, that's something else. Hey, I had an idea after talking to you. I think one of these years you should tell your mom you want to go as Robin Hood in the costume contest.
This is his mom, and actually we thought of that one, but yeah, no, he finally won his first archery tournament this year on Sunday, so he's hitting them, hitting them full time. Good.
So you competing against kids your age or different? Is there an age group like POAs, like 9 and under? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's in 10 to 12-year-olds right now, so he's actually the youngest in his.
He's the youngest, and he won, and he's in the youngest, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So we're talking to Susie right now. That's Levi's mom. If the other family members are on there, you guys can chime in anytime you want. So Eric, and then, of course, Brooklyn is Levi's sister. She's done well in POAs as well. But tonight, us dudes got to stick together, so I'm giving Levi the time tonight. So that was a nice article about you. Tammy did a good job writing that article in the POA year-end magazine. So
she did do a good job. Thank you, Tim.
She did. You're welcome. So I'm going to start scrolling through some pictures. Are you guys watching the show, or are you in the car? Or?
Yeah, we're watching it.
You're watching it.
We're watching in the car. We're between basketball, so or just Brooklyn just finished the basketball game, and she's actually on her way to dance. But
Well,
we are in the car with Levi to do this. So
well, you guys don't get bored much, do you? Your family stays pretty busy. That's cool. You're in that time of your life right now where your kids they're in everything.
Embracing it.
Embracing it, yeah, that's good. Well, you're doing it in POAs. You're sure you knocked it out of the park last year. So,
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Tracy Keene from Florida, Tracy Sweet Keene, she's a good friend of mine. She wants to know, tell us what POA has meant to your family. Levi, I know that's not a question I had on my list or anything, but we got a viewer. We have a viewer question. So
It's a lot of fun, and we've met a lot of people, and we get to travel, and I like the experience.
You got some good friends you met across the country? Tell me some of your buddies' name. I'm sure you got at least one really good buddy.
I have a really good buddy.
He's really good buddies with Smith Chestnut from Michigan.
Okay.
And he really likes hanging out with Sloan Pipcorn in Wisconsin and Aubrey Hodgkin. He's having a little bit of a meltdown right here, but he's doing good.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, but POA has been great for our family. So I grew up showing paint, not POA. I lessoned with Linda Schenfeld.
Okay.
And all the other kids had POAs. So as a youth, I became interested in them, watching the other kids. But I'm really tall. Everybody that knows me knows I'm probably one of the taller moms at the shows.
Right.
Being 5'11". So I was always too tall. So when our family had kids, I said, we're definitely going to get POAs. So this was kind of my vision to get them into it. And now that we're in it, we don't regret a minute. So
well, that's a good vision, yeah. A lot of my friends in life still grew up in POAs like Tracy, and sometimes you only see the people a few times a year. Of course, you guys travel a lot, you show a lot, so you're going to see them more often. But like when I grew up as raising POAs and my family who didn't show as much, we were breeders, we'd see people at the big show and then like at the futurity, or the sale, and you've seen the same people over and over, just like the Chestnuts, you know what I mean? I've known the Chestnut kids since they were kids, and now that's their son you're talking about, Smith.
Yeah. It's funny because at East World this year, but everybody that was there knows it was like a monsoon. It was like the rainiest show we've ever experienced. And Levi and Smith had a great time watching them try to manage the water. It was coming in the barn from every direction, and he really just enjoyed his time with him and Smith, just kind of watching out.
That was their job, managing the water, huh? They were the water.
So he's back together, I think. So you can ask him some more questions now.
Okay. Hey, Levi, you back on there?
Yep, he is.
There you go. Okay. So, I asked you a few questions last night. Everybody knows you got to prepare for these shows, so I'm not letting out any secrets. And I thought it was kind of interesting. I asked you what you wanted to do when you grow up, and I didn't know your history about your grandparents and stuff, but just tell us a little bit, some of your, what you want to do when you grow up, your dreams and stuff.
When I grow up, I want to be a farmer.
You want to be a farmer. Well, that sounds good. If you can ride horseback, plow the ground and raise a crop and shoot a bow, I think you're going to be pretty successful in life. So I think you can handle pretty much anything that's thrown at you. So, and your grandparents are farmers, right? On both sides, Levi?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty good. You got a background there. No.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. He likes the corn and soybeans.
Corn and soybeans. Yeah. I moved away from Minnesota to get away from the corn and soybeans, and now I'm sick of wheat. I think I need to move somewhere where there's palm trees.
Yeah, someday. We joke with Levi because he sometimes, he practices a lot, but sometimes, he's just like, I just don't want to go out there today, Mom. And I'll be like, well, do you want to drive the tractor around and drag the arena? And that's all the motivation he needs to get out there and get in the saddle is he can drive that little tractor.
I did ask him last night if he seen himself basically being an equestrian, when he got older, and his true answer was no, which is fine, But he, when he's 16, he might be having a hot rod pickup or something, or a car, and his sister might show longer or something. That happens. That always happens. That's why there's more girls showing than boys always, at shows. But
yeah, well, he'll be at the show. There's no doubt.
He'll be there. Yeah, he'll be there.
He'll be running the show.
Right, he'll be running the show. So I have a picture up now from the Boo Bash, and I read that's one of your favorite shows, Levi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there fun things to do at that show?
Yeah. I like the bouncy house.
Oh, the bouncy house?
He loves the bounce house.
Yeah. Man, they didn't have cool shows like that when I was a kid. It was just pretty much you showed and you went home. But now they got cool ideas, and like at the national show this year, the Congress, I thought they did a lot of cool things, to get the kids involved besides just showing.
Did you like the stick races, Levi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a picture here of Reese. He's got pink socks on. What'd you do to the poor guy? You're in costume class.
Oh, it's not up on. Oh, there it is. What are you?
No, we were the Afro Circus.
The circuit? What kind of circus?
The Afro Circus.
Oh, okay.
From Madagascar.
Oh, from Madagascar. Okay, from the movie. Yeah, you got to remember, I'm old, Levi, so I'm almost 50 years old. But I did see the first movie. There's probably been about 3 or 4 of them now or more, but I seen the first one. So, yeah, I can hardly see you in there, but I see your face a little bit. So, Reese looks like he's putting up with all the animals on him in the pink wrap, so he don't look like it's bothering him too much.
He's okay if he doesn't see him. So we do a really good job of getting him up there without Reese aware of it. And once we're up there, he's totally fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what's your guys' first show planned for this year?
The Early Bird Show.
The Early Bird Show. Where's that going to be?
Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota. Okay. All right. Is that in Winona?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice place.
In the past, there's been. I don't think we know yet where it's going to be this year. But
Oh, okay. The very first show I attended in 1983 was in Winona, but it wasn't at that location. That place didn't exist, of course, then. It was at a Stables that would have POA shows every year. And a lot of people from Eau Claire and Wisconsin came over. That's kind of before the West Salem, Onalaska area got real popular in POAs. It was more north, Menominee and Eau Claire. And,
Sure.
But they would come down and support that Winona show. But yeah, that was the first POA show. I'd been to a few sales, but that was the first show I attended. I didn't show at it, but I got to meet a lot of people. And
it's interesting to hear about how the demographics have shifted because there's not, in our Wisconsin following of exhibitors, there's not a lot from that area, if any, right now. So it's just interesting how it shifts over.
Yeah, because the 80s and 90s, that was the biggest area by far. But I do think trainers, really good trainers, have a lot to do with it, just like Decatur, Illinois, how Eula Gayweiler and then Tom Walmsley, they really just helped blow up that area. And then Wisconsin's blessed to have a lot of the best POA trainers really are in that state, and they have been for quite a while. So that helps out guys like you. Now we're looking at a picture of the siblings here, Brooklyn and Levi. And you're in costume again, but you're in Native American dress this time, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were a Lakota warrior in this one.
A Lakota warrior, yeah. You're smiling. You look like you're happy, so they're both smiling, so. You guys must be doing something right, Mom and Dad, because the kids are showing and they're smiling, so. There's Go ahead.
It's probably 7 a.m., but
Oh, right. It was probably early. Yeah. There's a tractor in the background. You didn't try to go jump on that, did you, Levi?
Yeah.
No, yeah. I'll tell him next time, take the keys out, because you got a future farmer there. He might. Tracy from Florida said burr about the early bird show. So, yeah, it's a little cold.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. Some year, we remember, actually the first year we had these, the show, it wasn't an early bird, but it was Memorial Day, and it was like 90 degrees and just hot, humid. So, and that was in May. So you never know in Wisconsin.
Oh, you never know. Yeah, Wisconsin if you don't like the weather, wait a few minutes, it'll change. Of course, that's getting to be a lot of the states now. We're supposed to have a big storm in Oklahoma here. I just went out and unloaded some stuff out of my truck, and the temperature dropped at least 30 degrees from what it was the last time I'd been out, like at 2 or so. So now we're supposed to get probably 8 to 10 inches of snow, which is like 3 feet where you guys live. So, that's, if we get 3-4 feet of snow, they cancel school easy down here. So,
yeah, and we can almost see the grass where we live. So we're lucky, getting not a lot of snow so far, knock on wood.
Right, knock on wood. So, all right, Levi, well, you want to add anything that I missed? Or you want to give a shout out to anybody? Hopefully some of your friends are watching. I know it's kind of a special thing. You have to go onto Facebook, onto this group, but this will be on Facebook and probably YouTube. You can go and show some people, hey, look, I'm on YouTube. I'm a celebrity. I've been impressed now, and I thought it was funny, Susie. I was looking at the thing today, preparing for this show, looking at the magazine, and I saw a picture of you guys, and I started laughing because you told me how tall you were at 5'11", and I said, oh, she's tall. She's about the same height as her husband, so in that picture anyway. So
yeah. When I try to ride the police, my legs can almost go all the way around them. So,
right. Yeah, you would need a real fat one, a real 56 inch. Squeeze one in at 56 and feed it a lot. So
right.
Yeah. Boy, Reese, I got this picture up here where Levi and Reese is in the pulpit. He's just such a beautiful POA. He's really kept his shape over the years. Sometimes with the pony breeding in there. Of course, he has a lot of quarter horse breeding. So his mother was an own granddaughter of Perpetualism, who was a 4-time world champion halter horse. So quarter horse. So a big, that's big time halter. So you can see that how he looks through the bridle and stuff, though, that keen eye and that beautiful dish face.
And he loves to be out there. I mean,
yeah, it
a lot
seems
of
like it.
People get nervous to be out in the show pen, and especially at Congress, it's intimidating. And he likes to be. He does. I mean, he just listens and enjoys it. Ears are always forward. Ears are always happy. So
right.
Levi likes that.
Yeah. So Tracy wants to know if you guys are going to be at convention.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The dad said yes, so that's always good when he says yes. So that means it's going to happen, right? So,
yeah.
All right. Well, that's good.
He's practicing because he moves up to 10 to 13 now. So now it's going to be sibling neck and neck all year.
Oh, man. This is really going to get tough. Uncle Lance and Aunt Faye are so proud of you, Levi. They just commented. So you have family watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Jeremy from Kansas just put, I missed the first part. Did you tell the story from the sale? And I did. I did tell that story because he told me, you need to tell that story. That was the first sale he attended, the spring of 06. Jeremy and Julie were just getting into POAs. Of course, Julie grew up showing POAs, but Jeremy rode with his good friend and mentor, Lynn Puffenbarger. He consigned like 8 or 9 to that sale, and they came up, and Jeremy's never forgotten that mare came in. She was about ready to pop. Her belly was so big, and a pretty looking leopard mare, and she was in full to that little stallion. And 2 days later, out popped Reese. So, and he had tips on his ears when he was a baby. That's why they named him. I don't know if he still has the tips or if the color. Yeah.
Yeah, the color's gone, but I did notice that when I saw a bigger picture that he had red ears.
Yep, that's why he's perpetually tipped. So they used the bloodline, the pedigree, and then he had tipped ears, so that was cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah. To answer Tracy's question, so Brooklyn is in her 3rd year of 10 to 13, and Levi will be in his 1st, so they'll compete against each other for 2 full years.
2 full years. So, wow.
Yeah.
So do you guys like the age changes? It was always 8 and under, and then 9 through 12. Now it's a little different. You like that better?
Well, we never showed the old way, so we're very happy with it.
Right.
As a parent of a boy, I like the fact that the boys and girls are together now, mainly because I felt like Levi needed competition in the sense that there weren't a lot of boys. So he was almost getting, it's not that he didn't like it, but there was no challenge anymore because there wasn't a lot to compete against. So when he finally got the chance to show at Congress against 20-some kids, it meant something. So I think it was a good move for
Right.
the
I do
boys.
too. Yeah, it definitely. And look, he ended up High Points, so yeah, that didn't hurt
Yeah.
him for sure. You don't want to go to a show. It's like even showing a baby or showing a halter pony, and you're the only one in the class, and you took off work and you spent time, hooked up the trailer, drove to a show, especially a big show, and you're the only one in there. That'd be kind of like showing just with a couple friends, a couple boys. So yeah, it's a good deal. So.
That was Levi's exact case in 2020 at the Congress, because he was one of probably 2 boys in the 9 and under, and he did really well, but it just didn't. You could tell the spark wasn't in Levi's eye when he did
right.
well.
Well, and it's like competition. I alluded to football earlier. That's what I grew up playing, and Levi really loves competition. I can tell that with archery and showing horses. You play up to your competition sometimes, you know what I mean? So if he competes against the tough girls, he's going to be on his game, I think. And they all are. All the boys are going to be. They can't just be loping around out there and, lollygagging along. They're going to have to compete. So that makes the breed and the show and everything better, I think. So. All right, guys. Well, unless you got something else to add, I think it was a good. I'm sorry about the beginning. My Bluetooth was acting up, so.
That's okay.
That's okay. You're such a polite young man, Levi. I'm glad I got to know you. I'm going to come up and shake your hand or give you a hug if I don't scare you in Tulsa. So when I see you at the Congress, I'm sure I'll be there. I only live about an hour and a half from there, so I usually go every year. I watched you show this last year, so I always look for Perpetually Tipped for Reese because of that story about how he came to life. So, so I seen you. Yeah, and I didn't realize that was your sister, but I did tell my wife. I said, "Look at that costume," because we'd seen the movie, and stuff. Of course, we grew up with that. All of us did, But the new movie is so good. And when I seen that costume, I said, "Boy, that's a neat costume." And then I just found out lately, you guys are brother and sister. So.
That costume took a little bit for Reese to get used to, actually. Those dogs, he was not sure about those dogs.
Oh, I bet, yeah. And they look like they're coming at you, yeah. So,
right.
Yeah, and that's a good pony, too.
The one that wore the dogs could care less, but Reese from afar was...
He thought they were coming to get him, maybe, so... Yeah. Well, that's a good experience for him, so... Well, everybody seemed to like this show, Levi. I think you're going to help my ratings, so I might have to have you back as a repeat guest, okay? Maybe after Congress or something. I'll have you co-host or something, okay, buddy?
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys for being on tonight and doing this. So.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. Go ahead and watch the rest of the show because Tommy and Suzanne's going to be on. Of course, they're the breeders to the sire of Reese. So Tiger's Tough Eagle. So you'll get to hear some history there. So.
No, I'll have to give Levi to shake Tommy's hand at the Congress too.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Ken.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So that was my guest, Levi, and his family. His mom, Susie, and dad, Eric. I don't know if Brooklyn was on there, but she might have been. She also shows POAs. So now we're going to call Tommy here in a few minutes from Chandler, Texas. Of course, Tommy's been breeding for quite a while. If you've ever wondered where the CHR POAs came from or what it stands for, it's Chimney Hill Ranch, and that's Tommy and Suzanne Tomlin, as I said, from Texas. And I'm going to give Tommy a call right now, and we're going to talk about some of these pictures here and some of their history in POAs, their background. They've been breeding for quite a while. They started in the 80s. And they started out with this filly right here. This is KK's Rio Tough. They might have had some POAs before her.
Hello?
Hey, Tommy, how you doing, buddy? Can you hear me?
Wait a minute, Ken. I can't get you.
Oh, well, I can hear you just fine.
I've lost you, Kent.
Okay, well, I can call you back. I can hear you, Tommy. So you're coming through clear as a bell. Hello?
Hello?
I got you, Tommy. Can you hear me?
I can, but I've lost the picture.
Oh, you lost the picture. Okay, well, that's fine. I can tell you who it is. I can
Now I've got it back. Oh, look at her.
Do you recognize that little filly?
I dang sure do.
Yeah, that was a great one. Of course, she's the cornerstone of your breeding program, I would say. Yeah, and a lot of others too. But so we'll talk about Rio here in a minute. But I want to tell a story really quick about you. And okay, when I got married to Monica in 2014, but we met in 2012, and I can't remember which national show I took her to first. It was 13 or 14. But on the way home, I was asking her, of course, she realized how big POAs were in my life, especially after she seen people I was talking to, and all the way I enjoyed the show and everything. And she mentioned a few names, of course, Pat Burton, he's like the Brad Pitt of POAs, you know what I mean? And he's a good friend of mine. So she mentioned Pat Burton, and of course Jackie Guthrie. I think we went out to eat with Tammy and the group, and stuff. So she mentioned them, and then all of a sudden she goes, I really like that Tommy guy. And I said, Tommy? Yeah. And she goes, I think his name's Tomlin. She said, I sat next to him, and him and his wife they're so sweet, and they were so nice to me in my very first show. So I don't think you ever heard that story, but I wanted to tell you that. So
well, thank you. No, I've never heard that.
You never heard that. So yeah, well.
Oh, that was nice.
So here's Rio. Rio was born in 1985. Of course, she was bred by the Kowaleski family, and they had a mare from Leonard Lewis that he had bred. She was a solid Palomino by Gold Prince, and then Kowaleski's got her and bred her to Doc's Built Tough, their young stallion, and out came Rio. And Leonard actually showed her for him as a weanling because his good mare, Miss Highdeck, had lost her foal that year. So I remember him showing her. He showed her out in Ohio at the International, and of course the Select Cider Futurity, and she did good. And then she was purchased by the Rupplingers, and that's who you bought her from, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kent, Leonard made a comment that Rio was the finest baby that he'd ever shown.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, it was a tough class that year. I know she didn't win the show. He'd been winning, was first or second for years with Highdeck's babies. And this baby was just a little classier, I thought. This picture doesn't show her neck, do her neck justice. She had a long, pretty neck as a baby. And this black and white picture, it's kind of fading into the grass. But she was cute. And then, of course, that, classic snow cap blanket and then those four white legs. And she was just something to see. And after Rupplingers purchased her, she continued to win. She did well. Here she is when you had her, I believe, or she has a saddle on here in this picture. She's an older, probably.
Uh-oh. I'm not seeing another picture.
Okay, it'll come up. It'll pop up. There's a little lag there. You're probably out in the country. So.
Yeah.
You're in Texas. Everything's bigger, but the satellites maybe. I don't know.
That's right. I still don't see her. Kent, come on, Rio.
It'll come up. Tracy says, I wonder about her LP status. She looks homozygous, but we all know we have false. She was definitely, Tracy, she was definitely homozygous. She produced at least 3 few spot sons, so she for sure was homozygous. I knew that the first time I seen her as a baby. When I was going around telling people snow caps were, she's the classic snow cap. Now they're calling almost everything that doesn't have spots a snow cap, but she was to me the classic one. And
right.
Yeah. But anyway, she. So you bought her. How old was she when you got her?
She was 2 years old.
Okay. All right.
I saw her at Oklahoma at the International in Oklahoma City. And I went down and talked to Amy, and she was in the chute to come out for an event. And I wanted to buy her, and they gave me a price, and I said, well, that's a little high. So I went back, and I said, boy, I've got to have that baby. And the picture was still in the magazine in December. And when I saw that, I called them, and we made a deal, and they shipped her to me.
Oh, okay. All right. And then you started raising babies out of her pretty early, right?
Pretty quick.
Yeah.
Pretty quick.
Yeah.
We showed for a while, but pretty quick.
Okay.
Kid, I'm not getting anything. I've got a dead screen there. I don't know what's wrong.
Well, that's all right. I'll tell you I'm still on that picture of her. So it's the picture where she's got a wreath around her neck, a garland, and she has a saddle on. And anyway, I'm going to show some of her babies here. So were you the breeder of Rio Golden Honey then, her daughter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I remember that filly in Tulsa in 1994. And
right.
Everybody that was anybody in POAs walked over and looked at it. I remember Doc Nemmers and Leonard Lewis, my dad, everybody found that filly.
Well, she was a spitting image of Rio.
Right, she was. Yep, she looked a lot like Rio. And, of course, she went on to do well. I think Adam Kober showed her, didn't he, in Indiana or somewhere, and won with her.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she won, especially as a young mare. So, and Tracy, to answer your question, I think KK's Goldilocks was probably born solid and then roaned. Her mother was the famous roan mare, Cayuga's Frosty Patches, and then Gold Prince, of course, was a Palomino Leopard. So I know she was solid Palomino at birth, but she might have roaned, a lot. I'm not sure. I never seen her after she got older, but I know as a baby, that's why Lewis's didn't show her, and she ended up with Koraleski's in their broodmare band. But so the big thing that Rio really did is when you bred her to Pal Chip and Putt, she had 3 few spot sons?
Oh, let me think. Yeah,
or more than that.
She had Frosty, which is Ice Tea,
right?
And then she had Tough Eagle.
Yep, Tiger's Tough Eagle.
And then she had one Rio Tough Tiger.
Now, you kept Rio Tough Tiger, right, for a while?
Yeah.
That was the one.
Yeah.
So, CHR Tiger's Tough Eagle, he was on earlier. That's the one Doc purchased, and Doc Nemmers, and he used him for quite a while, and then he consigned him to that sale in 06. And then Ice-T ended up, I think he went to Oregon or somewhere, but he made a name for himself too. I think that's who we're looking at right now is Ice-T.
I'm doggone, I'm not getting the picture. Ice-T right now is Leanne Ivy owns Ice-T or Frosty.
Right.
And he has become quite a barrel horse.
A barrel horse. Okay. All right.
He's doing great.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And he's a supreme champion.
Supreme champion. Okay, so he went on.
There he is.
There. Oh, it came back for you?
Yeah, that's Frosty.
Okay. Yep, there he is. So I don't have pictures of all of them. Well, I showed Tiger earlier, Tiger's Tough Eagle. Did you see the show from the beginning?
Not from the beginning. Okay. I got in about halfway.
Okay, well, you can go back and watch it. I got a picture of him from the catalog when Doc consigned him. He was a good-looking a little stallion for sure. So here's CHR. He's tough enough, and that's a leopard you produced by Rio Tough Tiger, right? He's a son of So and he's the one that went on to be grand. You kind of made history there because there hadn't been a modern stallion, small stallion win grand. The last one was the only one before you did it was in 1974. Driftwood Series Tomahawk. Of course, the height limit then was 54. So there's an asterisk, just like in baseball. You're the only one in the 56 era, so that's pretty cool.
Right.
But can you imagine? You did it. What year did you do it? 16.
16.
16. So 1974 to 2016. That's a long span.
And Suzanne was the one that told me, said, let's take him to Congress. I said, Suzanne, we don't need to do that. And I'll be dead gum if a sucker didn't go grand.
Now she's still dusting trophies from that decision to take him. She has to dust those trophies all the time. So.
And that's why before we go to shows, I said, well, who do you think we ought to take?
Yeah, I would listen to her for sure. You may want to, in the breeding season, say, who should I breed? Like right about now, tell her, hey, show her some pictures. Which mare should we breed this day into? You've been doing pretty good. You don't have a 8-ball down there. You're not guessing. You got it down pretty good, Tommy, I think. So you produced a lot of lot of good. The CHRs have made a name for themselves, so, and they're spreading across the country. I have Tasha Jill up now. I'm going to show some of your brood mares. This mare's got a lot of Doc's breeding. She was out of a Doc's mare, and you over the years you've used a lot of Doc Nemers' breeding, haven't you?
I sure have.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it really, or hadn't thought about it until we started looking here just a few days ago. And I go back and everything is Doc. It's like we're Doc South down here.
You're Doc South. Well, I'm sure a lot of other breeders would like to be too. So, and then, you know, a perfect compliment to that though is he turned around and bought something, and it wasn't directly from his stuff. It had Double Tough in it, of course. It had Doc's Built Tough, you know, was Rio Tough's dad. So, but he turned around and got a horse from you. So that's the greatest compliment you could get when one of the breeders you tried to emulate ends up buying a stallion from you. You know, I'd say.
And that is a compliment.
That's a compliment, yeah.
I've always admired Doc, and I loved seeing him at all the shows and at Futurity every year. He and Ruthann, that was a thrill of my life to see Doc.
Yeah, that was. I miss Doc and Ruthann. You know, I used to eat dinner with them every time we'd see them. I was at their place many times. They came up to both our places in Minnesota. Of course, they leased Kiddo Tough from us when they came and looked at him when he was just a yearling, and they believed in him, and that's where Rough and Tough came from, by them traveling up to the dead of winter in Minnesota in December or January, whenever it was, and they took a look at Kiddo, and he ended up breeding to him. Then we hauled him to Wisconsin, and that was one of his first full crops at the new place over in Hazel Green when he moved from Dubuque to Hazel Green. So,
I see that picture now of Jill.
Yep, she's out by the pond there.
Yeah, she's in foal right now to House Casey Jones.
Oh, okay. Well, that could be a great one. For
that
sure.
ought to be a good one.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good one. I remember the story when you bought her, too. I was reading the pedigrees, and I think I was, and Pat was working the ring, and he was working you pretty hard. But it turned out pretty good. I think you got the good end of that. So
I think so. I really liked her.
Yeah, she is a nice mare. And, of course, she's got some great breeding in her, too, that Doc introduced into POAs, and people from Utah got to use it. And so here's another one of your mares. This is a few spot mare. She's standing here with a baby in this picture. She's got a green halter on.
I can't see the picture right now, but are they standing in front of a shed?
Yep, they're standing like in a loafing shed or something like that.
That's a little mare we call Aggie.
Okay.
And her real name is Oceoletta.
Okay.
And her first baby, actually her first one we lost. It was a Breach baby, and we lost it.
Okay.
And then the second one was CHR.com, and Susan Wells owns him. We called him Jake.
Okay.
Jake from State Farm.
Jake from State Farm, okay. And you named him .com, all right. So she's turning out to be, she looks like a cute mare. I kind of like her head. And, of course, I can't see much else about her, but she's a few spots. So she's got some cool points.
There.
Yeah.
And that little colt with her is CHR Tipped in Black.
Tipped in Black, okay.
Right.
All right. So,
and we call him Charlie.
Okay.
And Charlie is 3 now.
Okay. Where's Charlie at now? Do you still have him, or?
He's at my house. We're fixing to get on his back and start working him.
Okay. Is he a gelding now, or?
Yes, he's a gelding.
Okay. All right.
We showed him. He kind of got caught up in the 2020 stuff.
Okay.
And so we've been a year behind on him. And then we had another filly out of this little mare that we're showing right now. It's a 2-year-old, and her name is CHR Color Me Cool. We call her Chloe.
Okay.
And she's out of one of Johnny Brown's stallions, TAF I'm Pretty Cool.
Is that the yearling you showed this past year?
Yes.
Okay, the real loud colored filly.
Yes.
Yeah, I like her. I don't know if we have a picture of her on here, but she is loud colored. I don't know if the camera could handle it, if the Facebook might break down. So
I think I sent one. I don't know if I don't know
Okay.
if you have.
Well, I tried to use all the
Not very
pictures.
good.
So, Tracy said she has a Jake from State Farm too. So somebody just said Charlie is for sale. He was at Congress. Nice gilding. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He is going to be good.
right. Well, I'm trying to lead you a little bit instead of just putting the picture on and then telling you who it is. This is one of your mares. I think she's by one of your stallions. She's the red and white mare. She has her head down grazing, real dishy face, long neck
Is
mare.
that SRB Royal Duchess?
Yep, that's her. Yep, SRB
Okay,
Royal
yeah.
Duchess. How is she bred,
Yeah.
Tommy?
She's a CHR Tough Eagle mare.
Okay, she's by Tough Eagle. Okay.
Right.
All right. I like
that's
her.
why-
She's real feminine looking.
Well, she's a Rio. That's as close to Rio as I could get when I was at the sale. I got her at the sale,
Okay.
and I was looking for the Rio look, and that was pretty close to the Rio look.
Right, for sure.
And she's really produced some good babies for us.
Okay.
She's produced one called CHR Royal Investment out of Investment Assets, and we called him Buddy. He's up in northern New York. He's probably pretty cool right now.
He's probably pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah.
And then who else is in? We have a little filly called we called her Rosie, and she produced Rosie, and Rosie is being ridden by a little girl in Arkansas,
Okay.
and just going great guns.
All right. Somebody just made a comment. They can comment and say who they are. All I can say is see his Facebook user, but it says Tommy's Leopard Mare is arguably the best bred POA granddaughter of Highbrow Cat. Correct, Tommy? That's who.
No,
It's
dual pet.
Dual Pep. Okay, not Highbrow Cat, but Dual Pep. Okay.
Dual Pep.
Yeah, all right. Somebody had commented that, so hopefully they'll say their name. Other people can see, but on this as the host, I can't see unless they go on to
Right.
Ecamm Live. So I need to move on to another mare. Oh, I got wording on this one. So this one is Lakin with CHR. He's tough too, aka Junior. Says he went grand champion at this show or whatever. He's a loud leopard, big hip.
Oh yeah,
leopard.
Jane Bailey owns him.
Okay.
Let me go back to this little red mare that I'm seeing her right now. This Duchess mare.
Okay.
She's bred to PAF. I'm pretty cool. So she's going to have a baby that'll look somewhat like that loud leopard. I'm excited to see that
Okay.
this spring too.
That brings us
Anyway.
to a good point. I don't know if you like them or not, but you get your share of leopards. I think you are you partial to leopards? Of course, you've gotten a lot of few spots too. That's a byproduct of trying to get leopards sometimes. So.
Well, when I started, I couldn't stand the leopard. and then all of a sudden, I wanted them all to look like Rio did.
Right.
But now, my gosh, I love those leopards. Yeah, this is JR.
This is JR here, yeah.
Yeah, this is Jane Bailey bought him and riding him now.
Okay.
And her grandkids, I think, have started to ride him.
Okay.
And JR and I had a good time when we were
When you're
doing lunge line and all that.
Is
And
he
so
by He's Tough Enough?
He's tough enough.
Okay. All right. So that's cool. That was Janelle Burton
Aaron.
that made that comment earlier. So thanks, Janelle, for that. Tracy said it was her. So, okay, now we have a loud leopard. I think this is, let's see, I might know who this is. Maybe I don't. I don't know. You'll see it in a minute, but
Okay.
I think it's Chip of Gold.
Okay. CHR Chip of Gold. He's another one of our Supreme champions. He was bred by, wasn't that Tuppy? Okay. CHR Rio Tough Tiger was
Okay.
bred to Miss Savannah Gold
Okay.
and produced Chip of Gold.
That's another good mare you had over the years. You bought her fairly young, didn't you, Miss Savannah Gold?
Well,
Or what?
yeah, I got her at a sale, and there was problems, and we just used her as a brood mare.
Right. But she had some good. Yeah, she had some good babies.
That's him. Yeah, that's Chip of Gold.
That's Chip of Gold. Okay.
By the way, that J.R. Gelding that was back there.
Right.
Aaron Brown broke him out and really did a great job of doing that.
Okay.
Showed him at one trail at the futurity on him.
We're going to see a picture of Aaron here towards the end of the show riding one of your current stallions. Yeah. So.
Yeah, this is CHR Chip of Gold.
That one was,
out of Hannah.
Okay.
We lost Hannah this year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, she was blind and had arthritis, and bless her heart, she's doing a whole lot better right now.
Right. She came from Dean and Jan Rogers, Miss Savannah Gold, yeah. Now I moved on to, I think this is CHR 1 in a Jillion. I'm pretty sure it is. The exhibitor's got a pink shirt on, and she has red legs in the front.
Oh,
nice neck. I'm pretty sure.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's 1 in a Jillion. And that's a cool name because she's a Tasha Jill daughter, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a heck of a baby, kid. There's a great story behind that guy right there.
Okay.
We sold a little girl bought him at futurity. Maddie Frank bought him. She did a great job showing him, and they sold it to another little girl, and I think that's the one in the pink shirt there.
Okay.
And when she was out riding Bo, we called him Bo, at a fairgrounds like thing, some idiot with dogs, a couple of pits, stick those pits on that little girl and Bo.
Oh my gosh.
And Bo moved around to protect that little girl until somebody could come and get her off. And when they got her off, Bo then attacked those dogs.
Wow.
And saved that little girl. And the law enforcement got there. They took the guy. I don't know whether they killed one of the dogs, but they got it all safe.
Right.
And that's basically the situation. Her granddad told me, he said, Tommy, he is 1 in a Jillion.
Oh, that's
that
cool.
He will have a home for us, with us forever.
Kind of a sad story and a scary story, but in a way it's a cool story too, you know.
Yes. But he is quite a neat gelding. I'm excited to see them start showing him in POA shows.
Right. Well, he looks like he's the part, you know. He's looks real nice. Keen eye. A lot of yours have those keen eyes. I think that's from that Tiger, Paper Tiger, and even Rio. You know, that breeding shows through.
Right.
Who is the sire to 1 in a Jillion?
It's Pal Cavalcade.
Pal Cavalcade, okay. All right. Someone was asking on here, so.
And Pal Cavalcade is also the sire. It's a full, well, let me go back. This is Bo, and Bo is a full brother to another Supreme Champion we have, and that's Katie Bar the Door.
And I think I'm showing that one right now. There's a girl riding him with flowers, a bouquet of flowers. Yeah.
Yes.
That's CHR
that's our
Katie.
new Haley Sims.
Oh, okay.
And Haley Supreme Katie.
Okay.
And those two are full brother and sister out of Tasha Jill and Pal Cavalcade. Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. You guys have quite a few Supreme Champions now. How many do you have, do you think?
3.
3? Okay, you're getting close to that bronze breeder. You got to get some ROMs, or maybe you have it already.
I wish I knew. I don't know about that, Ken.
maybe I'll do that for a birthday present for you one of these days. I'll call the office and research it and say, hey, Tommy needs some plaques. Suzanne needs some more hardware on the walls to go along with the Grand Champion Stallion. So
this is Haley and Katie.
Right. I just moved off of that picture, but that was them. Yeah. So,
yeah, that was them.
I got Haley. Those two right. Then they were full. I got them in order. I was trying to match because I know you have some. I know Doc's Lucky Diamond was one of your brood mares, and there's quite a few. I think I have one of her babies now. It's in the trees and the flowers in the background.
Oh yeah, That's this year's baby.
Okay.
And that one's name is Mighty Special.
Mighty Special.
And he's owned by some people in Ohio. They bought him within a day of the time that he was born.
Okay.
And he is really, really a nice baby.
Now his mother, Doc's Lucky Diamond, another filly you got from Doc Nemmers. Is that a My Lucky Zipper daughter?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay. So really good breeding there.
Yeah.
And then your little guy, Tough Enough, the grand champion, he's the sire, right?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Oh, there
it is. See, when you're seeing them, I'm flipping right as you're seeing them, so we're a little off on timing, but that's fine.
We called him Tucker.
Tougher. Okay. Now I'm showing the one. I think it's a full sibling. You're in the picture. You can't see your face because the red gate's blocking it, but he's by the water tub. And
okay, yeah, that's a full brother to him, and that's
T-Tough. My T-Tough.
Mighty Tough.
Yeah, Mighty Tough. Yeah.
Yeah. We call him Gus.
Okay.
He's 3 this year, I believe.
You still got him on the place?
Yes.
Well, you got some prospects out there that.
Hey, I do. He's pushing the height limit. Let me say that.
Oh, okay.
But he's really a nice guy.
That's funny how you can get some. You've produced a lot of short ones, like Tiger or Tough Eagle and your grand champion, and then you've had some that's like all of us. You never know when that horse is going to kick in. When you put that much good breeding in there. So now here's one with a throat sweat. It might be. I don't think it's the same one.
No, that is the first one we had out of this combination of TJ. That's he's Tough Enough. We call him TJ.
Okay.
That's the combination of TJ and Lily.
Okay.
And that was the first one. We call her Mighty what? Mighty Fancy.
Mighty Fancy. Okay. All
and
right.
We sold her to a little girl at Futurity that year who showed her the next year in Lunge Line and In-Hand Trail at Futurity.
Okay.
And Fancy is real fancy. I can promise you.
I bet. Well, a lot of yours are. A lot of yours are really fancy. Now
well,
I'm looking. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Fancy, the little girl outgrew Fancy because Fancy's not but 50 inches or less. And she outgrew her, got her a 16-hand barrel horse. Yeah, and wait a minute.
Well, now I'm on another one now. I'm on a leopard with a red halter. So I moved on to a different one.
Okay.
That's fine if you had the wrong one. That's fine.
that may have been the wrong one, but that's still a comp of that.
Right. It's still a good
There's
story, Tom.
What have I got? I'm looking at one in a round 10. That's this year's filly. This year's Riley.
Okay.
He's out of Tough Enough. He's out of TJ. Now there's Chloe.
That's that filly?
That's that loud filly, yes.
Okay, with the red halter on.
Yes.
Right. Now this isn't a show picture or anything. She's just out there in the
just
round
out in the
pen,
pack.
yeah. But when you see her in person, she really pops. And she's related to Dual Pep, really close?
Yes.
Okay. So she should be pretty good, pretty cowy, pretty good brain, POA, well-minded.
She was reserve grand champion mare at the Fort Worth Stock Show this year.
Oh, okay. How was the stock show? I was gonna have somebody report on it for me, but I didn't ask anybody to do it. So
it was good.
Good.
It was good. Yeah.
Good show. Yeah, that's always a fun show for sure. That's a lot of history with POA too at the stock show. You know what I mean? That's been going on for a long time. And yeah, it helps promote POAs. And
yes.
Okay, I know this one now. Now you're standing here. You're number 230, and I think this is Texas Star. So
okay.
Yeah, isn't he one of your stallions?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I don't know the picture. Is he?
He's standing.
Is he black
this would have been. Yeah, he was dark. He was probably a yearling.
Okay.
It looks like Tulsa where the ramp is there in the warm up. I would say that's Tulsa with that cement concrete ramp, and that's when you were letting your hair go out. You kind of look like Sam Elliott there from 1883. Yeah, a little shorter maybe, but.
I thought you were going to say Santa.
Yeah, Santa. No, that's me. No, I make extra money playing Santa. It's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, that's CHR Texas Star.
I got quite a few pictures of him. Here he is out by your pins there, and and then here he is with you showing him. He was starting to run out a little bit here, and he's probably 2 in this picture, I would guess.
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. And then
Aaron got him and broke him and showed him for 2 years on JPFC.
And they won some stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They had some good shows.
I got a win photo here. Aaron's up on him, and he's roamed out a lot more now. His clear hooves are really showing now with those black legs. Isn't it funny how they keep the black legs? And
I know it.
And then those bodies turning white, so that makes him look more unique. You're sporting a nice purple shirt there. I don't know if it's LSU or the Vikings or what. I think it's the Minnesota Vikings.
Now, is that Hannah? Now, that's the last baby of Hannah, of Miss Savannah Gold.
Oh, okay. Okay, Texas Star is the last one? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right, that's good. And then who's his sire?
T&E, he's Dynamite.
Oh, okay. T&E, he's Dynamite. That was one of Aaron's stallions.
Yeah.
That was that pretty red stallion she had, right? I think.
Maybe. He's wrong now. He's white as he can be.
Is he? Okay. I might be wrong, but I think he was red when he was younger. But Tracy says yes, he's homozygous, the stallion.
Yes, he is.
She said, I remember Tommy asked me when he was a baby. So
yes.
Yeah. Okay, now I got a few spot on. I'm not sure if this is destined to be tough or not. I know I have some pictures of him, but it's Suzanne holding him by okay.
That's destined to be tough, and that was at Stock Show when he was a yearling.
Okay. And then I have a picture of him here at the National Show when Jeremy and Julie's daughter showed him for you and won the stallions, the youth stallions, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was just a yearling there.
He was a yearling there.
Yeah. Kara, right? Is how you say Kara, is her
Kara,
name? Yeah. A real good shower. And of course, Jeremy and Julie are really good friends of mine. So,
yes, they're great people.
Great people, yeah. And I told the story about Jeremy earlier about how that was his first sale in 06. You'll have to go back and watch that when Tough Eagle was at the sale, and then that mare, the mother to Perpetually Tipped, was consigned to that sale my dad and I put on, a spring sale in Minnesota. And Jeremy was there with Lynn. I thought he was one of Lynn's hired hands because he did have a guy with him, a guy that worked for him. And Jeremy had a camera, and I'm like, why is this guy that works for Lynn taking all these pictures? Well, here he was a young POA guy, and his wife had grown up in POAs, and they were getting in. They just bought a colt from Lynn, and they were getting in, which turned into Buddy, Salty Stolman look. And he ended up buying some of the mares Lynn hauled up to that sale that Lynn brought home. But so I've known those guys for quite a while. They're a cool family. So I really like this stallion. He's probably my favorite of your 3. That's just my opinion. He is standing by the red barn.
Yep, he's got the what I call the CHR head. He's got a nice little head, a nice jaw.
Right.
Little bitty ears.
Right. He's got that dish and that smart eye and a nice jaw. And sometimes it's hard to expose the nice head on a white horse or a gray horse, but when they have it, they have it. And he's got that.
And he reminds me more of Tough Eagle than any horse I've had.
Right. He does me too. I think he's probably a little bigger in the hip than Tough Eagle. Of course, Tough Eagle wasn't pushed that hard. Not that you've pushed him this hard, but this horse has probably been shown more than Tough Eagle ever was. He was just used as a breeding horse mainly by Doc, and then Brad Wilson. Will's POAs have made a name for themselves in Iowa. He's the one that purchased Tough Eagle from Doc that day. So, and
Yes.
he produced some good ones for Brad Wilson as well. So
Yep.
he is better than Tough Eagle, Tracy just said. So I think he would beat him in a show, yes. But again, he was pushed more than Tough Eagle ever was. But yeah, he's got a lot bigger hip. But is he staying pretty small, Tommy?
Yes, he's about 51, a little over 51 maybe.
Okay.
But he is, I tell you what, his personality, he's like a puppy dog.
Okay. Have you bred him yet, or is this spring going to be
Yes.
his first? Okay.
I have. In fact, one of those pictures you were showing was a gelding in a round pen. I mean, a little stud colt in a round pen, and it was his.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's that one. Yeah. Somebody just asked, are you for sure shipping on him this year, Tommy?
Yes.
Okay, you're shipping for him. Okay, on him. And this is CHR Destined to Be Tough is his name, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you have him, CHR Texas Star, and CHR He's Tough Enough. All three of your stallions are homebred, home-raised
Yes.
stallions. So that's pretty cool. So Jess is the one, Jess Drish from Iowa is the one that asked that question. So about the
Yes.
shipping. So, all right, Tommy. Well, I'm sad Suzanne didn't join in on the conversation, but I know she's standing right next to you. So.
Well, she's sitting over here on the sofa far enough away she can't get over here.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought I heard her once. I could see you visual. I can't see you, but I could see you turn your head and just ask her questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know how it goes. So when you have that many babies, after a while, they kind of run together too. So I used to. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'm kind of amazed at myself that I could remember these names.
Yeah,
you did. As I did.
You did good. That's why I didn't want 100 pictures, because sometimes tonight's one of the lowest picture episodes I've had, but it worked out good. But getting back to Doc, it was always funny. It was almost like it was a setup. We'd go out to eat with people, and he'd say, "Well, I bought this mare like Catsy Jack or whatever," and then the next year she foaled, and he'd look at me, and I'd say the name of the horse, and he'd go on in the conversation, and then he'd say, "I sold this, and I bought this filly from," and he'd look at me, and I'd say who it was, and he'd just kind of nod and go, and after years, it just kind of was second nature. We'd do that, and I was kind of his memory. He knew it, he just couldn't recall it as fast, and of course that's.
I can remember the CHR. It's just the other stuff I can't remember.
Right? Yeah, the other stuff. Yeah. Well, I'm sure most people by now knew CHR was Chimney Hill Ranch, but maybe they didn't know you, Tommy. So I wanted to help you. You've been good to POAs and bred some good ones. So I knew this would be a good episode. So. I told you it's just like talking, having a cup of coffee, or standing by the stalls. So that's all we did is talk about your POAs. So
well, thank you. I've had a ball doing this. This was great fun, and I can't thank you enough for having us on here.
Well, thanks.
It was a privilege and an honor.
Go back and listen to young Levi from Wisconsin. He handled himself very well, and he's a fine young man. I look forward to meeting him in the future. And
yeah, I can't wait to meet Levi at Congress.
Yeah. Yep, he said he's going to come shake your hand, his mom said, so he's going to walk up to you. So
he better hurry, because I may walk up to him. He's the champion. Look at that guy.
Yeah, if I was still raising POAs, I'd be hauling one over saying, hey, here you go. You can have this one and show it. So him and his sister. So we used to do stuff like that. That was one of our marketing plans was, we would find families that maybe their POA was getting older, and it was rumored they were looking for one. Dad would just load one up and haul it to them and say, "Hey, will this one work?" And they're like, "How much?" And he'd say, "Go ahead and ride it for a while," and just show it. And that really helped spread the name. That was before Facebook. We didn't have Facebook in the 80s.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So, well, all right, Tommy. Thanks, Suzanne, for recalling some of that stuff. And
well, you bet.
And thanks for being on the show. So,
thanks, Kent.
All right, Tom.
Appreciate it. Good to see you.
Good talking to you. See you this summer.
Okay.
All
bye-bye.
right. Bye. All right, everybody. That was Tommy Tomlin. We're looking at one of his stallions, one of three he has at his place, all homebred CHR stallions. So I enjoyed talking to Tommy very much. I knew I was going to have two fine gentlemen on tonight, young Levi and Tommy. from Levi's from Wisconsin. Of course, Tommy's from Texas. So I love the POAs and how you get to meet people from all across the country and all walks of life, and we all come together to support these POAs that we all love. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. It ran a little longer than I thought it would, but not too long. And we'll be back, probably not next week, because we're doing some construction right outside here of Studio J. I almost couldn't do it tonight because they've tore up the floor. And as soon as they put the epoxy on the floor, I'm not going to be able to get into the studio for 3 days. So I'm at the mercy of the crew. Hopefully they lay the floor before next Tuesday, and then I can be on 2 weeks from tonight. So just keep watching Facebook for teasers. And again, thanks to everybody that commented tonight. I'm sorry if I can't see your name, but we had a lot of great interest in this show and a lot of really nice comments from people. And catch you guys all in a couple weeks. Thanks for watching.